So here's a cool topic, standard form of linear equations. We're often looking at linear equations in slope-intercept form, and that's fantastic because slope and y-intercept are basically the two main ideas that we have for linear functions. But what about this? So if I have 2x plus 8y equals 24, it graphs this blue line. And my job is to really put this back into a form that makes a little more sense to what we've been doing. In other words, a form that finds its slope and its y-intercept. And a couple of things to notice here. We're going to do this two different ways. We're going to do a graphical perspective first, and then we're going to look at it quantitatively. And you need to learn both to strengthen your learning. So first of all, the y-intercept is obviously 3. Now, this form, standard form, doesn't tell me that at first glance, but my y-intercept is 3. Okay. The other thing that I know is that my slope is, well, if this is 3, then it's going to go down 3 and over 12. All right. So down 3 and over 12. Down 3 over 12. So my equation should be, let's see, one with a y-intercept at 3 and a slope of down 3 over 12. In other words, the equation is 3 minus 1/4 x. All right, 3 being my y-intercept, and my slope is down 1 over 4, which is the same as down 3 over 12. I just simplified it. So that should be my equation. That's a graphical perspective. That's if that line has been graphed for me already. What if it hasn't? So what if I don't have a picture of that line? So I don't know exactly what it looks like. I don't know its y-intercept or its slope. Well, here's how you handle that. Let's pause for a second. Magic. So the way that this works is I can put this equation back into y equals by solving for y. So you remember from solving linear equations and solving literal equations that this is a skill to have, a good skill to have. So I can solve this standard form equation for my y value. I am going to solve it for y. In other words, I'm going to start by subtracting this 2x. I'm going to subtract that 2x. And I subtract it from the left side and from the right side. So I'm left with 24 minus 2x. And then really all I have to do is divide by 8. So this is really a two-step equation. So I divide both sides by 8. 24 eighths is 3. And negative 2 eighths is negative 1/4. So there I have it. I got the same equation thinking about this graphically as well as quantitatively. Math practice number 2 says reason abstractly and quantitatively. And that's exactly what we've done. We've thought about this in 2 different ways, and now our learning is that much stronger. So to recap, solve for y by subtracting your 2x and then dividing by 8. And you now have this in slope-intercept form, all right? And that's the way that cookie crumbles. And one last neat thing to talk about with this function is, well, I know we don't see the y-intercept at the very beginning, but actually standard form is good to see y-intercept and x-intercept. So check this out. If I think of 2x plus 8y equals 24, and I think about what I could evaluate right here for x and for y, check this out. So if I want to find the y-intercept, every y-intercept has an x value of 0, right? So if I think of this as 2 times 0, well, that's going to be 0. 2 times 0 is just 0. So really this becomes an equation of 8 times what gives me 24? Well, we should know that that what is 3. Therefore, 0, 3. That's my y-intercept. That's pretty cool. So again, substitute 0 for x. That cancels out that term. So I just think 8 times what gives me 24? And it's going to be 3. Then we can think about the x-intercept. And for my x-intercept, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use blue this time, except I'm going to fill in 0 for y because an x-intercept has 0 as its y value, right? So I can think 8 times 0, well, that cancels out the 8y term. 8, 0, there's nothing. So really this is just 2 times what would give me 24. Well, we know that that's a simple equation where that what is 12. 2 times 12 gives me 24. So there you have your x-intercept, 12 comma 0. It's pretty neat, all right? Simply by filling in 0 for each variable, you can do a one-step equation to find the x or the y. So 12, 0 is my x-intercept, 0, 3 is my y-intercept. That's the usefulness of standard form in a nutshell.